of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I surrender.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. What a wonderful way to start the service this morning. This is Christine S. Young. She's our musician today. So just give her a round of applause for being here today and just coming out on this wonderful first couple days of fall. Thank you for being here. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Tacoma. My name is Reverend Lori Irwin Johnson and I use the pronouns she and her. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in today or show up in person. And if you've been here before and you've come back again, we're so glad you decided to rejoin us. Every time you visit, we're so happy to see you here at Unity, whether you're online or you're in person. So thank you so much for being here. Again, we have Christine S. Young, who's our musician today, and I'm looking forward to what she has to offer today. She always has wonderful, wonderful music for us, and I'm excited for it. So thank you. We really don't have much I want to give you as a preview because it's kind of an interesting day. Today is the equinox. Well, a couple days ago. Yesterday, officially actually here in the Pacific Northwest, it's 11:50 p.m. on Friday. So that was the equinox. It just goes everywhere has their own, of course, but that was officially the first moments of fall. But before we go into that and we go into the message, I want to go into the prayer for protection. If you know the prayer for protection, please say it with me. If you do not, there are handouts on the back table there that will give you an idea of what the prayer of protection says. And then also there is also words on the table for our song too, our peace song. So, all right, let us pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. Oh, and as we sit in this comfortable position, we open our hearts and our minds, our consciousness to prayer. We just allow ourselves to be present in this moment, knowing that the decision to be here this morning was by divine appointment. We are so excited to be with each other on this journey this morning into this new season of the fall equinox. And as we move forward into fall and the beginning of what will be Faith in Action next week and ultimately the holiday season, we are open and open some more for what's happening. We're so glad that we're together, glad that we could be here, and we're open and available for what it is that we need to hear. We're so grateful for each other, grateful for this time and this healing that we can give together. And so it is. Amen. All right, let's go right into our affirmation. Our affirmation is very, very simple today. Oh, I skipped right over you. I'm sorry. Are you ready to go? Would you like to go before me?
Can we do an affirmation and I can say?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I just totally got off kilter. It's already in frame of mind. Hello, everybody. Okay. Our affirmation for today is I welcome change. Let's say that together. It's very simple. I welcome change.
I welcome change.
Let's do that with a little bit more gusto and a little bit more enthusiasm. I welcome change. All right, let's do that. Let's let's have Christine S. give us a song, and then we'll move into the daily word and our message today.
Every evening sky, an invitation to trace the pattern stars. And early in July, a celebration for freedom that is ours. And I notice you in children's games, in those who watch them from the shade. Every drop of sun is full of fun and wonder. You are summer. And even when the trees have just surrendered to the harvest time, forfeiting their leaves in late September, sending us inside, still I notice you when change begins, and I am braced for colder winds. I will offer thanks for what has been and what's to come. You are and everything in time and under heaven finally falls asleep, wrapped in blankets white. All creation shivers underneath. Still I notice you when branches crack, and in my breath on frosted glass. Even now in death you open doors for life to enter. You are winter, and everything that's new has barely surfaced, teaching us to breathe. And what was frozen through is newly purposed, turning off that screen that is with you, and how you make things new with every season's change. And so it will be as you are recreating me. Summer, autumn, winter, spring.
That was gorgeous. Thank you. That was so perfect. Thank you so much. All right, our reading for today is from the Daily Word. And I spoke to someone this week who said to me, I would love to hear the Daily Word on Sunday. And there is a reason why we don't read the daily word every Sunday. And the reason is that because there are some limitations that you get from Unity on the global scale from the headquarters. It gives us permission as to whether or not we can read from that. It is a trademarked and copyrighted thing that they sell out. So they send out and sell. So we have limitations on how we can use that. So we can't read it every Sunday like we used to. We can read it on occasion. And so today I am reading it on occasion. And today is the occasion. However, I did not pick today's daily word. I picked the daily word from 59 years ago, from September 24th, 1964. And I thought it was absolutely perfect for today. It reads, does the prospect of a change of employment, a change of schools, a change of residence, distress or overwhelm you? Yes, a change of circumstances may arouse unhappy and undesirable thoughts and feelings within us. However, changes come to all of us, and we want to make changes easily and with a minimum of stress and strain, and we can. We can feel secure in making changes when we accept the truth that while change comes to everyone, there is a center of security that is unchanging, which is God, the principle of all good. We feel secure in making changes when we take the attitude that change is an opportunity to realize your greater good. Just how a change will benefit us and bring us together, we need to know in advance or in detail. God, the principle of unchanging good, is our security. We go forth joyously and courageously to make the changes that need to be changed. We step out boldly, knowing that every change in life is a change that will be productive and good. And our spiritual lesson is from the Gospel according to Facebook. And it reads, fall is proof that change is beautiful. So I thought that was very appropriate. As I was looking for something yesterday, I was like, oh, that's just absolutely perfect. So happy fall, everybody. We had the fall equinox. Yes. I love fall. Everything about fall except for pumpkin spice. And I love it. I just love the leaves and the change that's cool at night and warm during the day. We have some rain at night, which we had our first rain yesterday after such a long time. Seemed like that we hadn't had rain in a long, long time. And so I absolutely love fall. It is my favorite holiday. If you haven't noticed on my Facebook page that Halloween is squeaking in, even though it's not even October. But you'll see more of that as we get closer. So our days are getting shorter and our nights are getting longer from moving forward. As I said earlier, at 11:50 p.m. on Friday, fall officially joined us. So really excited. And from now until July 2024, we will have rain almost on a daily basis. So you can anticipate that. But my yard and my trees really loved the rain. So it was really nice to hear the rain on the roof last night because it was just, my trees were like, oh my, thank goodness. Apparently I don't water enough. So that they're really excited. So you know that we have two equinoxes. We have the spring equinox and we have the fall equinox. And the length of daylight during these two times a year, the only two times of year, the length of daylight are almost, and nighttime are almost the same. So there is a balance or an equality there. Only two times a year. Can you imagine that the whole entire year, there's only 2 years where there is balance in that way? The rest of year, it's either more light or more dark. So there is no equal balance. But does balance really mean that you have to be equal on both sides? Let me explain. So despite this imbalance, nature does adapt. And it adapts in ways that we see with the changing of the leaves. You see that the trees are going dormant. They're getting ready for the shorter days, the colder nights, and the freeze that comes eventually to our area and to a lot of areas, unless you live near the equator. And in the other part of the world, they are celebrating another their days are getting longer, and their nights are getting shorter. So it just depends on where you live in the world. But things are changing, and change is happening each and every moment, each and every day as we go through. And during this time of year, and you probably saw, if you follow me on Facebook, you saw yesterday that I posted that I pulled all of my couch blankets off and washed them all. And so you know what that means. That means that it is getting colder in my house, and I need to have my blankets. And the blankets are comfort to me. And I laughed because my sister responded. She goes, "I did the same thing." And I'm like, "Of course you did. It's in our DNA." So we anticipate every fall that our blankets are going to come out, and we're going to pull out our sweaters. And I'm looking for a long sleeve shirt that I had to go through all of my clothes last night to get sleeves on my shirt. And so things are changing, and I'm really embracing that. The only thing, like I said, I don't embrace pumpkin spice. It's not a thing for me. I'm not liking it. So, but for those of you who like pumpkin spice, God bless you. Enjoy. And even though our human rituals are different than the animals that you see who are out there gathering their nuts and getting ready for the winter, and the trees are losing their leaves, our rituals that we do in our homes, like my blankets and starting to bake, and all of those things that happen in the fall, those are the rituals that I've gone through in my life that are really important to me during a time of change. And when we're making a change, it's always important to keep up our rituals. And why is that? Because it gives us a sense of security, a sense of sameness. And so when things are changing, we have an anchor to keep us in the present moment. So it's at this time of year though, and it's in my home, it's around my home. I really, really, really embrace that part of me that is Wiccan. And I am a person who started out, before I came to Unity, I was Christian, and I left that. I left that aside, and I said I couldn't do that anymore. And then I started getting back into spirituality when I was working with a friend, and we had been working together, and it was, over 20 years ago. And she said she was a practicing Wiccan, and I didn't know anything about Wicca. So I was like, what is that? I want to know more. So she gave me some books, which really fascinated me. And then she said, well, let's go to this class that I'm going to go to, and it'll teach you everything you need to know. And so I went to this class. It was Wicca 101, and it was given by a Wiccan practitioner, and it was at the BNI, and they have they have little conference rooms that you can rent, and they rented a conference room so we could have this class. So here I was, and I don't think that they still had Ivan there at that time. I think that was something that had moved on, but I remembered that's where the gorilla lived, so here I am at the Wiccan, and I was like, this is weird. And I really, really enjoyed learning about this religion that I didn't know anything about. And so at this time, though, in the scheme of the year, as I really love to get into that female energy that is Wicca. Are you familiar with Wicca? Does anybody, I know Sharon is. Anybody? Yeah? Okay. It is something that most people are afraid to look at because they equate Wicca with witchcraft. And it's not the same in all cases. Wicca is a earth-based religion, and it's something where they are in touch with the cycles of the year. Some Wiccans do call themselves witches, and some just say that they're Wiccan and they're earth-based. So it just depends on who you talk to. And when I tell people around me, I said, this is when I really get in touch with that Wiccan side of me. They're looking at me like, wow, are you going to cast a spell or something? No, absolutely not. But then again, we'll see. Yeah. So the beautiful thing about Unity is that you can be or believe or practice whatever you want and be able to sit together with your friends here and be accepted on the journey of your spirituality. But I do work for Unity, and so when I say to some people that I do practice some rituals that are Wiccan, they look at me like, oh, really? So even they're open-minded and open, they still have this idea that Wicca is something negative, and it really is not. It is a beautiful faith, and I wanted to explain that a little bit more today because it is that time of year. And you're going to hear more about it because they have new shows coming out. I don't know who watches Discovery Channel, and do you ever notice that the ghost shows become more popular this time of year? I know because I watch them, and and so they're really really hot this time of year. So you're going to see all of this, these Halloween competitions when they bake cakes that all look like monsters and stuff like that. That stuff starts to come out on TV. So we are starting to get into a phase in the year where we're a little bit more open to that kind of thing, where we're open to seeing what could be if we thought a different way. And so many years ago, many years after I went to this Wiccan class and I read several books and I moved on from Wicca. I didn't stay there very long. We hosted the Witches Ball, and which is a big, huge, the covens from all the areas, and yes, there are covens in this area, if you didn't know. They come and they celebrate this season with the Witches Ball. It is so much fun. Oh, it was fun. They danced and music and and they had all kinds of food. It was just lots of fun and really great. So when you think about Wicca and you think about that kind of religion, don't be afraid. It is a beautiful religion. It's very, very open and very, very down to earth. And I think that's the most important thing to remember, is that they're in touch with the earth and the cycles of the earth. What I learned about Wicca, though, that really resonated with me is that there was equality between male and female, that there wasn't a patriarchy. And if you knew me a little bit, I'm a kind of a feminist in some things. And so if you ask my husband, he would say in all things. And but I do believe that the equality in this faith is really important, where the male energy and the female energy is equal, but not at all times of the year. Where in the fall and in the winter, the female energy is stronger, and the moon, it's associated with the moon. So when it's darker longer, that is the more feminine energy. And then when the spring and summer comes, then you have that the sun comes back and the male energy is dominant. So we are moving into this time, ladies, where our power is coming to fruition. So it's kind of exciting. The interesting thing about that is the patriarchy in the Christian tradition was really threatened by this type of religion. And so as you can notice throughout history how that's worked out for a lot of women, how it didn't. And so when you think about Christianity and you think about how the witches, for example, were executed or whatever it was they were within the time period they were, that was because they were bringing in something that was misunderstood. People thought that they were doing things that they were not. And it was propaganda. Can you imagine? Propaganda that made it seem like they were bad people. And they really were not. And so that religion, even though it's changed over the years, it's not the same. Where it was a basic earth religion that everyone had been part of, had changed as Christianity came in. And so they carried it with them throughout time, and there are still Wiccans today. They are healers. There are a lot of male and female Wiccans, mostly female though, and they do embrace the changes of the season and the time. And the thing that goes through the whole idea is in touch with the earth and being importantly part of what's happening with our planet. Now, for those of you who don't know a lot about Wicca, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a snippet of it and what they believe. And it's interesting because I would really like you to think about it in the way of what we do here at Unity. How do we think as Unity people in comparison to what they think? And you'll be surprised that it's very similar. In 1974, they adopted a basic rule of thumb. Now, Wiccans don't have rules. They don't have books. They don't have anything that has anything to do with telling them exactly what they should be doing. They just intuit what it is they need to do. So, but they did come up with some basic beliefs that they all follow, kind of like unity in their principles. We have principles, but we don't necessarily all follow them in the same way. So in 1974, they adopted these principles, and I wanted to share them, and then kind of keep that in mind at how they resonate with unity. We practice rites to attune ourselves with the natural rhythm of life forces marked by the phases of the moon and the seasonal quarter and cross quarters of the year. We recognize that our intelligence gives us a unique responsibility toward our environment. We seek to live in harmony with nature and in ecological balance, offering fulfillment to life and consciousness within an evolutionary concept. So those of us that here at Unity, most of us are very in touch with that kind of nature. We have gardens, and we garden, we plant flowers, and we love to go on hikes, and this is who we are at Unity. We know that this consciousness that follows with us all the time is also in nature, and we share that. And it's our responsibility to be able to care for that. In fact, Unity has a program called Earth Care. If you're ever interested in that, we can explore that. But Unity has a program called Earth Care that's specifically focused on the environment. It continues, we acknowledge a depth of power far greater than is apparent to the average person because it is far greater than ordinary. It is sometimes called supernatural, but we see it as lying within that which is naturally potential to all. We conceive of the creative power in the universe as manifesting through polarity as masculine and feminine, and that this same creative power lives in all people and functions through the interaction of the masculine and the feminine. We value neither above the other, knowing each to be supportive of the other. So we know in Unity, as we believe that the divine is within all of us. We all have the ability to have a relationship with the divine, and we invoke that energy each and every time we pray and each and every time we meditate. So it's not that different. It's just a different way of thinking about it. We recognize both outer worlds and inner worlds, our psychological worlds, sometimes known as the spiritual world, the collective unconscious, the inner planes, etc. And we seek in the interaction of these two dimensions the basis for paranormal phenomena and magical exercises. We neglect neither dimension to the other, seeing both as necessary for our fulfillment. So it's very much what we do here. We get in touch with our inner divine by going in meditation and prayer. So it's not different. It's just a different way of saying it. We do not recognize an authoritarian hierarchy, but do honor those who teach, respect those who share their greater knowledge and wisdom, and acknowledge those who have courageously given of themselves in leadership. We see religion and wisdom in living as being united in the way one views the world and lives within its worldview, a philosophy of life which we identify as the Wiccan way. So this is very much what we do. We are very much in touch with living our way. We are to live what we believe. We move forward in that. What doesn't do enough to pray and to meditate, we need to act based on our principles and our feelings and how it is we want to express in the world. And that is the Unity way. It's one of our principles. And let me turn the page. We acknowledge that there is an affirmation of fulfillment of life and a continuation of evolution and development of consciousness that gives meaning to the universe that we know and to our personal role within it. So again, we are affirming. We do that each and every Sunday. I do it each and every day. If you pick up the Daily Word, you have an affirmation every single day. You have a scripture every single day you ever reading. So you are affirming what it is what you would like in your world, in your life, and you're denying what it is you don't want. And you're just pushing that away and affirming what you want. Isn't that the same, pretty much? I mean, we're continuing to go into our consciousness and to change our lives. Wouldn't that be then, if you were a Wiccan, you would be magical? Then each and every one of us is really magical. Whether you believe in Wicca or not, we still have the capacity to access the same information, to be the same type of person that looks at the magic within all things. As I said, the goddess was represented by the moon, and the god is represented by the sun. And so as we move into the fall, that means that we, the feminine of us, are moving into a time of strength. We are turning into this female energy. It doesn't mean that there isn't any male energy. It's just the ratio between male and female, or that dark and light, has changed. It's shifted. But that does not mean that there isn't balance. There is always light in darkness. There is stars in the sky and the moon that you see in the dark. And there's always darkness in light. So whenever it's light outside, there's always shadow. There's always darkness in light. The shadow pervades, and there is always darkness in light. And there is always light in dark. The ratio is not the same. We know that in the world that we experience, we believe that balance needs to happen with 50-50. That there has to be this much balance, 50% on one side and 50% on the other. Did you know that there are more females than there are males on this planet? Yes. That doesn't mean that females run the world. No. It means that even though we are strength in numbers, we have a lot of women, we still live under a different idea that there is a patriarchy. And so, it's not balanced 50-50. Women have more. The ratio is more than men in society. But it's still not equal. Ratio changes based on the situation. Based on where we are in the cycle of the year. We're more dark or light. There's only 2 days of the year that we have balance. But balance isn't always 50-50, like I said. Think about that. So I'm going to use the example of pound cake. How many people have made a pound cake? I've made pound cake, right? Right. Okay. I love pound cake. And I didn't know until a couple years ago why they called it that. And somebody came to me and goes, a pound cake, huh? That's a lot. And I was like, a lot what? And he goes, a pound. A pound of this and a pound of that. And I was like, what? Somebody had to explain to me that a pound cake is called a pound cake because you use a pound of sugar, a pound of eggs, a pound of butter, and a pound of flour. And that's how the original recipe of the pound cake came about. It's not because, a pound cake weighs about, 3 or 4 pounds. This is heavy, right? But the ratio is a pound, right? So that's why they call it pound cake. But you also add things like salt, and you also add things like baking powder, and you add vanilla. So let's take that scenario a little bit further. What if we added a pound of salt, a pound of vanilla, and a pound of baking powder? That would just be atrocious. That would be awful. But it's necessary in the pound cake to be able to be a cake. It's necessary, even though it's in small amounts. A little teaspoon of vanilla, a little teaspoon of salt, and a little teaspoon of baking powder or whatever it is you're using. Those are important, but they are not part of that pound cake ratio. So when you think about it, even though they have a small influence, if you put more than is needed, then you're out of balance. You put more than you should have, then you don't have a pound cake anymore. You have a brick. And so you need to remember that although we're moving into a time where it is more dark than light, that doesn't mean that we're moving into a time where there isn't balance. It just means the ratio has shifted, and we are moving into a time where things are changing, and we are opening our hearts to change. We are really opening our bodies to change because we're moving into a space of hibernation. And what does that mean when we move into hibernation? Do you actually go to sleep like the little like bears? No, we don't. But, yeah, Curtis is like, yeah, sure. We do, though, shut down a little bit. Our bodies get into a slower rhythm, our metabolism slow down. That's why we get a little extra when it comes this time of year around the paddings of the bones that we have. Our metabolism slows down. We also are inside more. We move less, and we become more cuddly, and we want to stay warm, and we just want to sleep more because the darker it gets, the more we want to sleep. And so, some of us suffer from depression as we move into this time. So we need to remember to look for, even though we have more darkness than light, we need to look for the balance in the ratio. So when you're going out and you're looking in, when you're going out and you're looking around in the world and you're trying to function in this new change, in this new season, you need to remember to look for the light in the darkness, to look for what's there. So that's the beautiful thing about the holiday season, is that they bring the artificial light in for us. We're seeking the light. We're always seeking the light. And they bring out this wonderful Christmas lights and all of the flashy and all of the beauty. And that's what we have to look forward to. I have lights on my deck right now. My husband put some Halloween lights on the deck. There's always light in the darkness, but it doesn't have to be balanced. You don't have to have the same kind of light as there is dark in order for us to be balanced and happy. The thing is that change happens teeny tiny bits at a time. That is what happens with fall. It didn't turn fall overnight. It turned fall little tiny bits at a time. Every single day, the day got a little bit shorter and the night got a little bit longer. And then the fall equinox comes, and then all of a sudden we're all at the same time. And now we're moving into a different change. Change happens little tiny pieces at a time. And we always think that we need to make change quickly. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to stop eating. I'm going to exercise 20 minutes a day. I'm going to do whatever it is I need to do. And then you end up overdoing it and then you quit. Little tiny bits of change. Little bits. You park further away and you walk. You decide to not have that cookie and maybe have a piece of fruit instead. Those small, tiny changes make a big difference over time. Think about how the season will evolve. We'll have a couple more minutes and a couple more minutes of dark, and then eventually we'll reach a time where it's darkest. The days will be long, and then it'll get the shortest. The short will come back 1 day at a time, 1 minute at a time. And then eventually we'll be back where we're equal again in the spring. That means that you can continue to make change, small increments throughout time. It doesn't have to happen all at once. So when I say I am welcome to change, when you say that to yourself, I am welcome to change, and you're like, I'm welcome to change, I need you to feel that you are welcoming the change. Because change is happening, and all you have to do is to be aware of one tiny little thing that's happening in the moment that's different than what was yesterday, that makes the change of who you will be when spring comes. So when we move through these seasons, when we think that we're going through change, when we're looking for balance in the day and the night, or the male and the female in the Wiccan tradition, or if you're looking for, me looking for whatever answers I get during the fall, knowing that the changes that I make today, the teeny tiny changes that I make today, whether it be the attitude that I have, or the smile that I give, or the jelly bean that I decide not to eat and have a little piece of fruit instead. Those are the small changes that will make a big difference. And that is how we get from season to season. Our animal friends know that. Our plant friends know that. And they just go with it. They don't worry about it. They don't get stressed out about it. They don't have to think about all of the things that need to happen for the holidays or any of that. All they do is think about the minutia of change that happens each and every moment of each and every day. So when you look for balance in your life, know that change is the common denominator in each and every moment, because you will always change. You will always become more than or different than you are today. The beauty is that we never change, that we never stay the same, and that we will always be looking towards change. So when we're available, when we're open, we're connected to the earth, when we are taking that breath and pulling out that blanket and feeling and being in the moment of the fall as we transition into the winter. Know that the spring will come again, just be in the moment and enjoy what we have right now. And we can make the changes that we need to make in this moment. It doesn't have to be 50-50. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be just a little bit of change. And connecting with the feminine or male energies that are in the world right now, connecting to that can help you. Or not, if that is not your thing. But for me, in the Wiccan tradition and being able to connect with that helps me go through change, knowing that this is a moment in time where we are transitioning from what we were to what we will be. And so the fall is just a representation of that. And even though the summer is over, that doesn't mean that we aren't in for some really fun times in the next season. So be available to change. Be available to the changes of the earth. Be in sync with the cycles, and you will know that change is good, and it's always good. All right, I'm going to have Christine S. come back with another song, and then we're going to go into meditation.
Still, my soul be still, and do not fear. The winds of change may rage tomorrow. God is at your side. No longer dread the fires of unexpected sorrow. God, you are my God, and I will trust in you and not be shaken. Lord of peace, renew a steadfast spirit within me to rest in you alone. Still, my soul be still. Do not be moved by lesser lights and fleeting shadows. Hold on to the way with shield of faith against temptation's raging arrows. God, you are my God, and I will trust in you and not be shaken. Lord of peace, renew a steadfast spirit within me to rest in you alone. Still, my soul be still. Do not forsake the truth you learned in the beginning. Wait in stillness, rest, and hope will rise as stars appear when day is dimming. God in my heart, and I will trust in life and not be shaken. Lord of peace, renew a steadfast spirit within me to rest in you alone. To rest in you alone.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. All right, it is our time to meditate, and today we're going to go on a journey. We're going to close our eyes, and we're just going to go for a walk. You're not going to leave the chair you're sitting on. You're going to feel yourself supported. your feet planted on the floor, but your consciousness is going to go on a trip, going to go on a journey. In your mind's eye, I'd like you to bring your attention to a forest. A forest that is gold and red as the leaves change color. Some are still green as they never change. But others are losing their leaves, and it seems like it's snowing color. Red and gold as the leaves fall down around you. And you can hear the wind rustling through the leaves and the boughs of the branches. It's not too cold, it's not too warm, it's absolutely perfect. And as you sit in this wonderful space, you decide to stand up and go for a walk. There's a path in front of you, whatever that looks like for you, and you decide to take it. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know where to lead. But with faith, you take a step and then another. Because there's no fear here. You're completely safe. We are on an adventure. We're heading somewhere new. And as you keep walking down the path, you meander and you see the little critters down below you. There may be a squirrel who's collecting nuts from the bottom of underneath the trees on the ground. You may see a rabbit hopping by. And above you, you hear the birds jumping and flying from branch to branch, squawking and telling the other birds that you're there, warning everyone in the forest that there is a stranger here. But you keep walking. You're feeling safe, sending out this wonderful energy to all of the animals, saying, I am not a threat. And things calm down. And as you continue to walk, you come to an opening. As your branches open up and you see that there is a stream out in front of you. It's flowing, not too fast, not too slow. You can hear it trickle. And for some reason, you just feel more relaxed. As you come out from underneath the trees, there's sun hitting the rocks around the stream, and one just perfect for sitting on. So you go ahead and have a seat. And it's warm underneath your bottom. Feels great. The sun hitting you in the face, hearing the sound of the river, of the stream flowing next to you. And as you sit there, you see that there are leaves on top of the stream floating down past you and going down the stream away from you. So you bend down and you decide to pick up a leaf. Whatever color it is you like, whatever it is you want to pick up. There's so many different kinds, so many different colors. Just pick one up. And this leaf represents you. All the things that you planned for yourself, all the things that you want for yourself, it represents everything about you. So you set your intention that this leaf is who you are right now, but won't be you tomorrow. You are like the leaf. You're changing each and every moment of each and every day. Your colors change. Your circumstances change. So with gratitude, you thank this leaf for giving you this moment, this experience right here, right now. And you set it down into the stream next to you, into that water, and you let it go. And you watch it as it moves away from you and out of sight. You don't feel any regret or negativity. You're just so grateful. And the interesting and wonderful thing is that you look down again and you see that there's another leaf and another one to replace that one and another one. Your life is full of opportunities, each and every moment, each and every day, and they change and they come at you in different ways. But each and every moment that you have, you experience and you let it go. With gratitude, you let it go. And as you watch the leaves continue to flow away from you, you stand up. You thank this wonderful environment you're sitting in, from the grasses to the rocks and the water and the sunshine, the leaves on the tree. You're so in touch with that. And as the sun begins to set and you watch it go, you turn back up the trail, back into the forest, back through the trees. And the animals are saying now, instead of warning that you were there, they're like, thank you for being here. Come back again. And you keep walking. You walk until you're back in this room and you're sitting in that chair. And you make a mental note that you can visit that stream at any time. You can pick as many leaves as you want, and you can hold on to them as long as you want. But remember, it's important to let them go. Change is inevitable. It's always the constant, and it is your life. Take a deep breath and let it out. Begin to feel yourself sitting in the chair that you're in, feeling yourself supported with your feet on the floor. Another breath. And you can open your eyes and bring your awareness back to this space. And Christine S. has another song for us.
I am walking in the light, in the light, in the light. I am walking in the light of God. I am walking in the light. In the light, in the light, I am walking in the light of God. In the light, in the light, in the light, in the light. In the light, in the light of God, I am walking in the light, in the light, in the light. I am walking in the light. In the light of God.
Thank you. All right, we come to the portion of our service where we open our hearts to give, and all donations that we receive here at Unity of Tacoma go to support the missions and the ministries and the musicians and all the things that we do here, and we're so grateful for everything that we get. And there are so many different ways you can give. You can go to our Facebook page and give there using Facebook by going to facebook.com/Unity of Tacoma, and I think there they allow you to do it through PayPal. You can use PayPal at our website by going to unityoftacoma.org/donate to give there. You can donate through Zelle using our telephone number 253-576-3225, or you can mail in a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington 98411. And if you're here in the building and if you feel inclined to give, you can give in the prosperity box at the back of the room. And as we prepare to give, I'd like you to hold within your hands this intention of moving through you, and as you visualizing that circulation of abundance as you in this moment. Jesus said in Luke 6:38, "Give and you will receive. You'll be given much, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It will spill into your lap. The way you give to others is the way God will give back to you." And as you visualize holding this gift within your hands, please repeat after me. Divine love,
Divine love,
flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am,
all that I am,
all that I have,
all that I have,
all that I give,
all that I give,
and all that I receive.
and all that I receive.
I am grateful for my blessings today,
I am grateful for my blessings today,
and I am grateful in every way.
and I am grateful in every way.
And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
May the blessings that you give bring so many blessings back to you. We're so grateful for each and every one of you here at Unity of Tacoma. So I'm going to invite Victoria up for announcements if she's ready for that. Good morning. Yes.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, a lot to reflect on today, all about change. And of course, in my mind, I immediately go to pivot these days. And when I think pivot, I also think pirouette. I used to be a dancer, and I remember pirouettes. I don't dare try it now. I could do it with my arm, but that's about it. But it's about twirling into change and being receptive to it, and knowing that it's happening all the time. I was inspired this morning about this pivoting change thing. You know, I'm all for it. But I realized that since I came to this side of the mountains in Washington, I have adopted a saying that I say over and over every year, and I see today that I need to quit it. And that saying, I'm going to say it the last time. That saying is, if I can live from November 1st until March 1st, I will be just fine. In other words, November 1st to March 1st is my nemesis. November 1st is when I turn the heat on in my house. March 1st is when I turn it off. So those are the hibernation months for me. I'm all dressed in my polar fleece today because when I looked out the window this morning at 6:30, the upstairs window, all the treetops were shrouded in clouds. The sky was white. The fog had moved in. The rain had left. And we were officially into fall. So from now on, I'm going to have to pivot and think of something different than March 1st to November 1st. I'm going to have to change my attitude and welcome what is happening in that period of time. Once again, I can welcome the colors. I see that right now. Love and colors, certainly are a lot of them in the fall. And food. I like food. And food can play a big part. one of the things that inspired me with Lori's talk this morning also is she kept referencing commonalities when she was talking about Wicca, which I really didn't, no pun intended, which I really didn't get in contact with at all until the late 90s. And I got to thinking about all the different factions of thought that we adopt. And then we get stuck in that frame of mind. And I like the fact that she found the commonalities between Unity and Wicca, but it's much broader than that. There's always commonalities in everything. And if we can find those commonalities, that's when we find hope, and that's when we find peace. So on with it. So next Sunday, October 1st, is our first Sunday of Faith in Action. Our color is purple, so everyone pull out their favorite purple clothing to wear. Our musical guest will be Matt and Becky. We will have a Zoom book study for Faith in Action starting Tuesday, October 3rd at 6:30 p.m. If you are interested in taking part in the book study, let Reverend Lori know after church today, or you can email her at lori@unityoftacoma.org. The book is called Eternal Heart by Carl McColman. We will have a pet blessing after church next Sunday for St. Francis Day. We will be blessing the pets walking by and giving them special treats. Bring your pet to church after church. They can't come in the building. Or maybe you can bring a picture of your pet so we can bless your animal that way. Saturday, October 7th at 10 a.m., we will be heading over to Unity of South Sound for the memorial service for Reverend Deb Olive. Deborah was a minister in our church for 10 years. So that will be next Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday, October 7th at 10 a.m. at Unity of South Sound. Sandwich making, therefore, is going to get moved for October from the first Saturday of the month to the second, and that will be Saturday, October 14th at 11 a.m. here at Unity of Tacoma in the Surge Building at South 54th and South Tacoma Way. Sandwich making, for those who don't know, is when we put together 100 sack lunches for people who are unhomed. And we have Pastor Jimmy who comes and picks up all those lunches and any donations that we have of blankets, clothing, toiletries, whatever, that we've collected that day. And he will take them directly to those in the camps that need it. Have a wonderful week, everybody, and find those commonalities.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Let's give her a little round of applause for her little... I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Did you know that the word spelling comes from the Old English root word to spell, which meant at the time, when it first came, an Old English word, it meant we use your words to invoke magic. That's what a spell was. Today we use spell in a different way. We use our letters. We put our letters together to spell something. But in essence, spelling or a spell is just an invocation with our words. And every Sunday, we have an affirmation that affirms what we would like to have for ourselves to manifest our greatest good. So in essence, we are casting a spell each and every Sunday to be able to bring about what it is we want. So you are powerful, you are magical, and you can create whatever it is you want through your words and your actions. So I'm going to read the benediction for today. And for those of you who know and were with us at Faith in Action last year, you know that John O'Donohue is one of my favorite poets. And he has a wonderful poem called Vespers that talks about change and changing of everything. It says, "A light departs to let the earth be one with night. Silence deepens in the mind and thoughts grow slow. The basket of twilight brims over with colors, gathered from within the sacred meadows of the day. and offered like blessings to the gathering tenebrae. After the day's frenzy, may the heart grow still, gracious in thought for all the day brought, surprises that dawn could never have dreamed, the blue silence that came to still the mind, the quiver of mystery at the edge of a glimpse, the golden echoes of worlds behind voices, tense faces unable to hide what gripped the heart, the abrupt cut of a glance or word that hurt, the flame of longing that distance darkened, bouquets of memory gathered on the heart's altar, the thorn of absence in the rose of a dream, the whole while the unknown underworld of the mind turns slowly in the secret orbit. May the blessing of sleep bring refreshment and release, and the angel of the moon call the rivers of dream, to soften the hardened earth of the outside life, disentangle from the trapped nets the hurt and the sorrow, and awaken the young soul for the new tomorrow. Thank you for being here and listening to me today, and I will bring back Christy Ness and we will sing our peace song. If you would like to stand, please do so. If you don't know the words are in a handout in the back, and you can sing along with us.